Welcome back to AI Explained. We've got some really interesting stuff to dig into today.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
A lot of you have sent in, questions and sources about big tech and, all this AI stuff that's blowing up right now.
It's been unavoidable, really, hasn't it?
It really has. I mean,
Yep.
every day there's something new.
Yeah.
But one thing that's caught our eye is this recent FTC report.
Yes.
And it really focuses on the relationship between big tech and these AI developers.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is the FTC is not just, looking at the legalities of it all.
Right.
It's really a deep dive into, like, the potential consequences.
Yeah.
Like, how could these partnerships between companies like Microsoft and OpenAI or Amazon and Google, like,
Wow.
how could that end up shaping the entire future of AI?
Yeah, and are we going to end up in a situation where it only benefits like a handful of companies?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things that the FTC is particularly worried about is this idea of lock-in.
Yeah.
And I think for our listeners, it would be good to explain what that is.
Yeah. So think about it like this.
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
building like the next, awesome AI app that's going to change the world, right?
Okay.
You need data to train your model.
Hmm.
You need massive computing power.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Right. And if all of that is controlled by just a few companies,
Yeah.
because they've partnered up with the big AI developers,
Right.
you're kind of stuck.
Right. Yeah. You're at their mercy.
It's like being, back in the early days of e-commerce where Amazon was the giant.
Right.
And they used that power to, like, favor their own products, and it made it really tough
Yeah.
for smaller retailers to compete.
Yeah. And you can see the parallels there.
Absolutely.
It's like history might be repeating itself.
Right. And, the FTC is not saying stop innovation. It's
Mhm.
more about, like, hey, let's make sure everyone has a fair shot.
Everyone has a chance to play.
Exactly.
Right. And innovate in this field.
Yeah. And, if all the resources are concentrated in the hands of just a few,
Yeah.
it could really stifle innovation from smaller players.
Right.
And then there's the issue of data privacy, which is a whole other can of worms.
Yeah. That's the big
Just
other
because, the FTC is concerned that cloud providers, through these partnerships, could end up getting access to a lot of sensitive information.
Yeah, and that does make you kind of wonder,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
obviously AI needs data to learn, and the more data, the better.
Right.
But where's the line?
Yeah.
What happens if that information is misused or it gets into the wrong hands?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like this balancing act
Right.
between, AI advancement and protecting sensitive information.
Right. And it's not like there's an easy answer.
No, not at all.
And I think that's what makes this whole report so interesting,
Absolutely.
is that it's bringing up these really complex issues that we as a society need to grapple with.
Yeah, and, it's not all doom and gloom either.
Right.
I mean, Microsoft, for example, they've actually pushed back on this FTC report. They have.
They're saying that their partnership with OpenAI has actually been a good thing.
Right.
It's led to more investment, more innovation in the AI field.
Yeah, so they're saying it's actually beneficial.
That's their argument, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a valid point to consider, right?
Yeah, I mean, think about all the amazing advancements we've seen in generative AI recently.
It's mind-blowing.
It is. I mean, could that have happened without these collaborations?
That's a really good question.
So maybe the key here is to find that sweet spot,
Yeah.
that balance between, encouraging these collaborations,
Right,
but also making sure that there's level playing field.
right, so that everybody has a chance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that innovation isn't stifled.
Right, because I think ultimately that's what we all want. We want to
Absolutely.
see AI benefit society as a whole.
Yeah, and I think that's the challenge moving forward,
Yeah.
is how do we create an environment where these partnerships can thrive,
Right.
but without, sacrificing competition and fairness. Right, and making sure that those concerns about like data privacy and things like that are addressed.
Exactly, yeah.
So it seems like this whole partnership between big tech and AI development, it's kind of a double-edged sword.
It really is.
There's amazing potential there.
Oh, yeah.
But there's also these serious concerns that we really need to think about.
Yeah, and, as AI continues to evolve,
Yeah.
this is a conversation that we need to keep having.
You need to keep having it.
How do we make sure that AI benefits everyone?
That it's not just benefiting a few.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive
It has.
into this complex world of, big tech and AI.
A lot to think about.
A lot to think about. And I really appreciate you joining me today to break it all down.
My pleasure.
And for all of you listening out there, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more explorations of this fascinating and rapidly evolving field.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.